The following paid program is furnished by Raskin Resources Productions. It's for basic entertainment and informational purposes only and is solely responsible for its content. It does not necessarily reflect the views of Cumulus Media, its management, or its staff.
Welcome to the Patricia Raskin Show, the program that helps you turn obstacles into opportunities, challenges into solutions, and find answers to tough questions. The award-winning powerhouse voice of radio, Patricia Raskin. And now, here's your host, Patricia Raskin.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to the Patricia Raskin Show. And I'm Patricia Raskin, right here on News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM, WPRO. And we are the voice of Southern New England. Happy Valentine's weekend, folks. Tomorrow's the day, and our show is today, so I'm wishing everybody a happy Valentine's Day. And I'm dedicating this show, actually, to Valentine's Day. We're going to talk about love in the workplace, but not the kind of love that we think about, not necessarily romantic love, more like agape love. And then we're also going to talk about the heart, because it's also Heart Month. In the second half hour, we'll talk about the heart in terms of our physical heart and our emotional heart. So let's start with my terrific guest, Mary O'Sullivan. Mary O'Sullivan is the owner of Encore Executive and Professional Coaching. And this half hour is brought to you by Encore Executive and Professional Coaching. Welcome, Mary.
Hi, Patricia.
Hey, great to have you on.
Good
research on love in various settings supports this move from fear to love.
Yes.
And it shows that love produces long-lasting effects of inspiration and motivation and energy and creativity. But we don't often talk about that in the corporate setting. And then you found something I thought was fascinating, how one company is sending pairs of coworkers on blind dates, in parentheses. So,
yeah.
Wow.
That's very interesting. That is a company called FreshBooks. It's sort of a startup accounting firm. And they have a great big open space, which is kind of the new thing in new companies these days, in startups. But they realized that there were people that were on, opposite ends of the room that didn't know each other, that should be working and collaborating together, like maybe the head of contracts and the head of accounting. They didn't even know who each other was. So the HR person, the head of HR, decided that in order to build better collaboration among workers and more synergy and more productivity, actually, in the workplace, that she would set up these blind dates. And it was just kind of a coffee or a lunch, and it was not a romantic date, but just a date so that these people would get to know each other, be able to figure out how they could work better together, and be able to collaborate more. And that just engendered so much morale and just that synergy in the workplace, that uplifting, inspiring feeling that we were talking about, that really makes people motivated and makes them want to do more, actually.
Yeah. I have to say that every other month I have a wonderful sponsor. Her name is Paula Marshall, and she's the CEO of Bama Industries, and they're out of Tulsa. They make all the fast food desserts for McDonald's and Walmart, international company, huge. And she has this kind of philosophy, and I've got to tell you, she reads letters from employees, and she doesn't even call them employees. They're called team members.
Right.
I don't care whether you're on the floor making a pie or whether you're a management. You are a team member. And they write her letters about how happy they are to be there and how much they love the company. So it's possible, and it's out there.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because I did a little research on some companies that actually embrace that philosophy. And, of course, we know Google and Southwest Airlines are really good examples of that. In fact, the company philosophy of I just want to make sure this is correct, Google, is to create the happiest, most productive workplace in the world. These are the words of the Vice President of People Development at Google.
And what do they do, Mary? What are some of the things that they do?
That Google does?
Yes.
Oh, my God, there was a list that was as long as my arm. It's just amazing. One of the things that they do is every Friday they host sessions, forums, open forums, where there is an examination of the 20 most asked questions that have come up during that week.
That's fantastic.
So they do that every Friday. So everybody has a voice. They have a lot of different communication channels, which you would expect at a place like Google. But some of the other things that I found were really interesting. They survey the managers. They survey employees' opinions of managers, and then they post the results of the survey. They're publicly acknowledged. And the best managers are made as role models or teachers. Then for the coming year, they become mentors and bring other people along.
I want to interject here. What amazes me about all this is that when you listen to it, it sounds very simple and like common sense.
Mm-hmm.
And we have so many unhappy workers. I think it was you who came on the show and said that 70% of people who are in the workplace are unhappy.
Of people hate their jobs. That was a 2013 Gallup poll.
And, we are talking about love in the true sense of the word. Mm-hmm. And that is love of humanity, love of your fellow man. And I don't know why we've gotten away from this. But I feel that when you help someone, they'll, most of the time, not always, but if you open your heart and you help someone, that you're opening that up for them to help you and be there for you as well.
Right. You're exactly right. And that is exactly where corporate leadership, organizational leadership, and organizational behavior is headed now, because they know what's happened over the last several years. Let's say the 90s, between the 90s and where we are today, the philosophy has been that we're going to make workers very productive. And in the United States, we have the most productive workforce in the entire world. So 100% of the countries in the world are not as productive as we are, okay? So we're the number one productive company. So what happens when employee productivity rises, its profits also rise. So with people leaving and getting older and retiring and such, the workforce has been reduced. Management is no longer replacing people. You know the story. People are stressed out. They've been working for 30 years. The job has changed. Well, it's come to the point now where the productivity is not where it was. Productivity is falling. So companies have to look at better ways to get more out of people.
And do you think part of that is because people are asked to do too much? They're asked to do 2 jobs or sometimes 3 jobs?
That's exactly what happens. Yeah. When somebody retires or leaves or goes to a different department, that job is not replaced. So the work gets split up among maybe the remaining 3 or 4 people in the department, and everybody becomes very overworked.
All right, let me ask you this, Mary, because you are an executive coach.
Yes.
Talk about where you fit with all of this in terms of your work. I mean, you have been in corporate America.
Yes.
You now are on your own as a coach. Talk about what you do to help people fitting in with this theme of more love and more acceptance in the workplace.
Right. Well, I usually get I don't want to use the word detritus, but I usually get the people that have been cast aside, the people that have sort of fallen out of the corporate graces. So they're left with just no ego, very disheartened, very dispirited. So my work first is to try to get them to feel more confident and just feel better about themselves and more centered and more grounded, because they can't move forward. What I try to do for people that are still in their jobs is to help them look for opportunities to improve the workplace in just some small way. One of the things I'm focusing on right now is, I sort of kiddingly call it adult charm school, but we forget how to act. We forget how to behave in social and professional settings. And so, there's a lot of yelling and a lot of insults and things like that go on, and even some harassment that goes on in the workplace. There has to be a better way to handle it, even if you're the person being bullied or harassed.
So what you do in your coaching is you help people cope with what's going on in the workplace,
right?
Do the best they can, And then find some other ways to exit gracefully while they're still, in their work, in their job.
They have decided that that's the move for them. If they realize there's no other choice and they have to get out, I help them make a graceful exit. That's exactly right. But the people that, let's say, are 50 and they still have 15 more years to go, I had a client yesterday with that same exact story. So my work with him is to help him cope and make small, minute changes in his daily routine or in his life in order for him to be able to either decide to leave or put some kind of finite timeline on it. Is it going to be 1 year? Is it going to be 3 years? Is it going to be 5 years before he leaves that particular job and moves on to something else? Or is he going to start looking today? But he's in a very bad place. A lot of clients are like that. And so I try to help them move forward at least in a small way on a personal basis before they can take these big leaps into change.
So let's tell our listeners that if there's anybody out there in this position that Mary's just describing, you're in a job, you're not happy for a variety of reasons, you'd like to have more love in the workplace and it's not there. Mary can help you. And so, Mary, talk about some of the offers you have for our listeners.
Well, I offer all Patricia's listeners a 20-minute complimentary session. You can call and set up an appointment with me, and I'll give you a 20-minute complimentary session. I also have some workshops coming up, Patricia. I have one coming up on the 23rd, which is a free workshop at the North Kingstown Chamber of Commerce. It's in the evening from 6 to 7:30, and there's no charge for that. I also will be speaking at the Hive here in North Kingstown on, I believe it's the 25th at noon. So those are some of the things I have coming up. I'm also going to be offering a virtual course, an online course starting in May. And if people are interested in getting into more detail about how to make the exits that you want in 4 easy steps, you can get in touch with me, and I will be offering this a special at my speaking events
All right,
as well.
So tell us how to find you, Mary.
So on my website, it's www.encoreexecutivecoaching.com, and my phone number is 401-742-1965.
Okay.
And you can email me at mosullivan@cox.net.
All right. And if you forget all that or you're driving, just write to me, Patricia, at patriciaraskin.com. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to take any of your calls regarding the workplace, happiness, joy, love. Do you have it? Don't you have it? How can Mary help you? Or just your comment about, is it working for you, and why is it working? And usually it's working when people support each other. And for some reason, that seems to be a very difficult concept for a lot of folks. But it really does work. And again, we're going to take a break. You're listening to The Patricia Raskin Show. And this half hour is brought to you by Mary O'Sullivan and Encore Executive Coaching. The website is encoreexecutivecoaching.com. You can write to Mary. And Mary, can we do Mary at encorecoaching.com?
Yes.
Okay. And also 742-1965. And she offers complimentary consultations. Just say you heard it right here. We're on News Talk 630 and 99.7 FM WPRO. We are the voice of Southern New England. We'll be right back. Happy Valentine's Day for tomorrow, everybody. Well, hello, everyone, and we are back. You are listening to The Patricia Raskin Show. And this half hour is brought to you by Mary O'Sullivan and Encore Executive Coaching. You can reach Mary at encorecoaching.com, and it's encoreexecutivecoaching.com, and her number is 742-1965. And anyone who is, not happy at work or in between, wanting a graceful exit or already exited from work and trying to find the next place, Mary is an excellent coach, and she's been in the corporate world, and she can really help you. So really take advantage of that. You can also call us right now at 438-WPRO, 438-9776, or toll-free, 800-321-9776. With any questions for Mary or any stories about, what has worked for you in the workplace. Are you a happy camper? We'd love to hear that and why.